We'll go ahead and put the chat up there. Can check in with a comment when you're tuning in. I see some people were commenting before. So welcome. Appreciate everybody being early and on time. Like we do always, we'll wait just a couple minutes so we can let go live on all the different platforms and also give everybody a chance to tune in. All right. Some people dropping comments. Julio, awesome. You're brand new. I know you joined yesterday. Perfect. Adam, Ben, Jamie, hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. We're going to go through some great topics today. This is my favorite training, the sales training, where we go out and talk about actually getting business. And today we got some great stuff to go through here. So hang tight. We'll wait for everybody to jump on, and then we'll get it going. Good evening, everybody. All right, lots of people checking in. Evan checking in, one of the team leaders. Shout out to our team leaders here at the Mortgage Calculator. All right, let's see here. Okay, it looks like we are good to go. We are live on all of the different platforms, so we can go ahead and get into it. So welcome, everyone. My name is Kyle Hershey. I am the COO of the Mortgage Calculator, joined by our president, Nick Hershey, and our sales manager, Jose Gonzalez. We are a correspondent lender that specializes in non-QM loans. And today we have our sales training. As I was saying before, it's my favorite training, talking about getting out here and actually getting deals. And today we're going to talk about how to build relationships, and in particular, realtor relationships. Well, we've been over some of this stuff before, but I can't emphasize enough how important it is to build relationships with realtors in this business, as well as other professionals. Real estate is a very local business, and a lot of us are remote, right? A lot of us are not working out of an office necessarily nowadays. And so that makes it even more important to somehow build those relationships without being in the office next to the person, and, be able to network and form not just relationships, but partnerships, essentially. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to send it over to Jose. He's got some things he's going to pull up and go over. And if any of you have any questions as he goes, feel free to drop them in the comments and we can answer some questions. But with that being said, Mr. Jose, 27 years experience as a realtor and a loan officer. He has experience from both sides of the aisle there of realtor and loan officer, so he can network with himself, but he knows how people network with him on different platforms. So go ahead there, Jose.
All right, you took my thunder there. I was gonna say that one. I can network with myself, All right, everybody. Yeah, this is a very near and dear topic to me, obviously, because as a realtor and as an MLO, I understand the trials and tribulations of being on both sides of this coin, right? What do you do as a realtor to generate more business, and what do you do as a mortgage loan originator to generate more business? The real estate lending and real estate sales industries are intertwined. you know Essentially, real estate sales and real estate lending, I would say, are connected at the hip, right? There are many opportunities that exist to create synergistic relationships where basically 1+1 = 3. We talk a lot about building relationships at the Mortgage Calculator, especially relationships with real estate professionals, right? We're all in this together, and we're all pushing in the same direction, right? So I wanted to go ahead and share some information that I have here because I wanted to first show you some quotes regarding the whole real estate agent and real estate lender relationships to add some context to the situation. Then we're going to break it down, and then I'm going to give you some pointers and suggestions on how to make it happen, right? So, like I mentioned, here's some quotes on this topic so that we can add a little context, right? So, first one here says the ideal real estate agent lender relationship is symbiotic, right? The agent earns trust with their borrowers by connecting them with a great lending resource, right? That's us. While the lender receives a steady stream of business from the agent, right? Benefit here is obviously increase in business due to referrals from realtor partners, right? That's an obvious and easy one. Everyone would get 100 on that test. Next quote, excuse me. By developing strong loyalty among their customers, salespeople create a competitive advantage because these long term relationships help drive repeat sales as well as provide references and word of mouth that help to attract new customers. Again, benefit increase in business due to referrals from past customers, right? So, next quote. The speed, follow up, and reputation of a lender can enhance a realtor's business by giving them better communication, more negotiating power, and quicker loan processing. Man, that gives me goosebumps when I see that because that's all about the mortgage calculator there. And the benefit there is increase in business by adding value to the transaction. And you all know you hear that from us all the time. We all talk here at the Mortgage Calculator about adding value to the transaction to stay relevant to the transaction. So, what do brokers want from lenders? And here, brokers, we're talking about real estate agents, one from lenders. The clearest incentive for an agent or broker to work with a lender is a strong service experience. And this part's important, but product availability is equally as important. And you know that's great for us because we're all about solutions. An agent an agent has to know the lender will be able to serve referred clients, which means having access to a variety of loan products with competitive pricing, right? And the takeaway from here is you have an increase in business due to referrals from realtor partners due to adding value by providing knowledgeable and diligent service combined with competitive pricing and products. All very important topics to consider, right? So it's evident from above that there's a great value in building business relationships, specifically realtor relationships. As outlined above, it can be the difference between struggling to make ends meet and success in a challenging environment like the one we're in now. So, with the context being set, now we're going to give you some actual tips for MLOs to successfully build these relationships, right? Number one, be accessible and proactive, right? Real important. Don't we all know realtors have a hectic schedule, which includes evenings and weekends? As their lending partner, we need to prove ourselves a valuable member of their team and be available 24/7 for the pre-approval requests that may come in on a Sunday night so that that offer can be submitted before the listing is sold. So important in this time of tight inventory. If you're the lender that can turn around that solid pre-approval, and I'm not talking about a letter that you put together. I mean a real pre-approval like we do at the mortgage calculator where on a full doc agency file, we're taking it all the way through to automated underwriting approval after review of all the pertinent docs, and on a non-QM file, we're reviewing the guidelines of the program, reconciling that with all the documents we have and credit to confirm that the customer would qualify. And then we issue our pre-approval letter, right? And you're all going to love this, because how much do we talk about milestones here? Well, here, every milestone in the loan process is a chance to show your commitment to the success of the transaction. And I emphasize there the word commitment, because, here at the Mortgage Calculator, we are hands-on in our commitment to the transaction. We know everything that's going on in the transaction. We don't get caught off guard. And that's part of the value that we're adding here, being professionals, right? Number two may be obvious, but necessary, because sometimes what happens when you assume, right? So you have to determine early on what is the preferred communication method. Do you prefer, or does your referral partner prefer emails? Do they prefer texts, or they prefer phone calls? Real important. If you know what their preferred method is, try to stick to it. Obviously, we have emergencies, but obviously here both parties, both realtor and lender, should be very clear on their preference to avoid a miscommunication. Like, hey, I texted you, and maybe the person never checks her text, or hey, I emailed you, maybe they never checked their email. So just establish that early on so you don't have any problems. In line with that, communicate clearly and honestly. This one is so important in our community, because we need to have credibility, right? We don't want to be seen as a sketchy company, sketchy MLOs, or anything like that. So real important, communicate clearly and honestly. Honest communication is always best when things are going fine, and especially when there are issues on a loan file. Don't waste time making excuses, but instead work on a solution. We all know things don't always go as planned. However, as we mention all the time here, if you properly set expectations and are 100% honest and transparent, you will maintain your integrity, and you will establish yourself as a trusted resource in the real estate community. How many times have you heard, yeah, it was a little tough, I held through at the end, I came through, I showed up, you had some issues with the borrower, but because you were honest, because you were transparent, next thing you know, they're referring you a deal, right? Happens all the time when you're honest and transparent, because in the end, people know it doesn't always work out, but if they can count on you to be truthful, that means a lot, especially when you're talking about money and about what is usually the largest transaction that anybody is going to do financially, most people in their life. Number four is one very important to me. So these aren't necessarily in order of importance, by the way. Be a resource. This one is so important. You can be out there in every website that has to do with lending and real estate, and you can go in there and you can add comments and reply and help people out, answer their questions, and you will build a following that way. So offer value through resources and tools, and providing free advice. You can accomplish this through newsletters, blogs, social media, streaming, podcasts, right? A lot of different ways that you can be a resource. Number five, work together with your referral partners as a team. That's the whole idea here, is the collaborative effort. Successful teamwork relies heavily on reciprocity. Consider how you can work together more effectively and thoughtfully. It will make the tasks easier and more pleasing to complete. I mean, you don't really want to be working with people you dislike, either. So, I mean, if everybody's being thoughtful with each other, it's going to be a pleasant experience. You're not going to have any infighting. So, real important there when you're thinking on reciprocity. Number 6, use social media. You can all see we're doing it right now. You can communicate changing information rapidly through relevant, and I say relevant, and helpful posts. Don't just post for the, like indiscriminate posting. You got to keep it relevant, try to have a purpose. Your referral partners and you can share each other's content across social media platforms, increasing each other's presence and credibility. Number 7, get your clients to the closing on time. So don't take your eye off of the ball, right? Don't take your eye off the 8 ball, whatever you want to say. Closing is the end goal. So getting your clients to the closing is the top priority. The best referrals are going to come from satisfied clients who have successfully closed their loan on time and without drama. And most importantly, probably the what would be the intertwining thread on all of these is be consistent, right? Being consistent will reinforce everything you do as a mortgage loan officer. It will allow you to build strong relationships and weather market changes because of the great referrals you will be receiving. Uh, in my business now, being 27 years in the business, uh, the majority of my business will be referrals. Customers either a sale, they're buying something, selling something, refinancing something. They know once they come to me, they've already shopped around. They've done all of the inquiries. They know exactly what the pricing is. They know everything. Then they basically come to me for an affirmation, right? Like they want to see if I'm close, because if I'm close, I'm going to get it. And if I'm not close, they may tell me, hey, listen, and then we can work it out. But I'm very fair and usually I'm going to be on point. So I get those referrals, and referrals is the easiest business you're going to get because of that. You don't have to worry about anybody shopping you around. You're going to waste a lot less time, use up a lot less resources. You have to devote yourself to nurturing, cultivating. Early on in your career is going to be a lot of upfront work, but then as your career matures, you will be able to then basically pick the low hanging fruit from the tree of opportunities. So now, where do we start to build these relationships? Right now, I have some pointers here, and open to suggestions. I mean, this list could get very long, but I, put some of the main points here now. First and foremost, we have thousands of realtors in the CRM auto dialer. So, we as a company um, invest in setting up the databases so that, you all can benefit from that. So, definitely reaching out to what is already established database is going to help. But beyond that, we're talking about number 2, locate local real estate offices that you would like to work with. And, why don't you stop by with a box of donuts and ask them when their next office meeting is so you can be a guest speaker. I can guarantee you show up there and you give the receptionist or the floor person or whatever they call them these days, the person that takes the calls there, a box of donuts. They're going to let you know when that meeting is, and they'll probably call the manager, the branch manager, the sales manager, and try to hook you up with a meeting. So again, go to number 3. You can go to the NAR website, National Associations of Realtor website, and you can search for realtors on the database, right? You can search for realtors by designation, by location. So designations would be, for example, if they're a CIPS, Certified International Property Specialist, or if they are a CRS, Certified Residential Specialist, depending what you need. Maybe you are working with international clients and you need an internationally trained real estate agent, or maybe you're working with a lot of buyers and sellers and of residential real estate, so you want to work with a CRS, or you're just going to pick them by location, whichever is your preference. In the NAR website, you can go there and you can hunt through the database of 1.2 million realtors. That's how many there are. You can also, depending on however you are able to contact these realtors, you can reach out to these realtors and offer them pre-approved buyer referrals. You know that we work with buyers all the time that do not have a real estate agent yet. They're usually contacting us first because they want to get the money. They want to be sure they're going to have access to the money. So following my reciprocity action, you want to give in order to receive. So I'm sure there's a lot of times when we're pre-approving somebody and we may forget to ask, do you have a realtor? I like to ask them, and most of the time they say no, I just started looking. So since you know where they're looking, and since you know when they're going to be pre-approved, then that would be a great time to reach out to local agents in that market. Tell them that you're working with a buyer that you're pre-approving, that you want to get a feel for the market there. You want to talk to, because you want to refer this buyer to them, and then you want to ask them some information, some local market data regarding inventory, regarding viability, let's say, of FHA pre-approvals, viability of a high LTV conventional pre-approval. Some markets super tight. They're going to tell you, no, man, FHA is not going to fly. You need to be conventional. You need to be at least 10% down. Whatever it is, that is the local market insight that the realtor will be able to give you. And when they see how you are inquiring about these matters in your thoughtful and professional manner, they're going to start looking at you also as a consultant and as the person that they would probably feel comfortable referring their buyers for pre-approval. But I can almost guarantee you that once you do give them that first pre-approved buyer and you keep tabs with them and you do a good job, it's only a matter of time before you will get referrals from that realtor. And one other point to note here is that when you do refer that pre-approved buyer to the realtor, that's a point when you should be asking them about giving a presentation during their office meeting, or possibly just presenting to them and to a few other realtors. We do it all the time. Set up a Zoom meeting. It doesn't have to be in person. It could be in person or it could be Zoom, right? But there's a lot of different ways. But once you get that first foot in the door by offering a referral to them, sending them a pre-approved buyer, that's going to allow you to, ask these matters, as opposed to just calling them straight out, cold calling them and telling them, oh, I'm the best lender in the world and you need to have me on your office meeting. They probably get that 100 times a day. So you really need to deal with actions rather than words. That's what people want to see. So reciprocity does work. If you give, you will receive. So number 5, network with realtors at the many mixers and presentations that they give. Now, I know during the pandemic that basically went down quite a bit, but they're back. They're having all their events. And one thing I'll tell you, as a realtor used to go a lot to these events, lenders rarely go to these events. You're going to have like the same 4 or 5 lenders or mortgage brokers at every event that I've been to. Same guys, they're the ones that are probably, associate members of of the local real estate board and all that stuff, because they see the value of networking with these realtors. So real important. Go to those events, sign up to those events. They're usually free. Lots of realtors there. And they're all in a relaxed atmosphere and environment. So you should be able to strike up some good conversations. And my recommendation to all the lenders out there, talk to them about DSCR. That's what they love. They'll love that. Another very valuable thing to do is offer to participate in their open house. So once you reach out to that realtor, you could ask them if they're having an open house. And you can find out open houses. You can go on to, for example, Zillow, right, for a local area, and every open house that's going to happen that weekend that's in the MLS is also going to be um, simultaneously published on Zillow. Most of the real estate boards do that. They syndicate all the listings on all these portals. Zillow is one of the main ones. So you could go onto Zillow, find out every home that's having an open house, call the agents and ask them, hey, I would like to lend my services for your open house as a lender, and I can sit there, answer questions, offer pre-approvals. You get some information on the property. There's that rate plug app that Nick likes, that you can create you can create brochures for them for the listing, dual branded with them and your information on it. So you can give those out at the open house with some data, with some financing options, because you would have already had the list price, the type of property. You do a little bit of research, put together 2 or 3 options, put it on your flyer, and then you have it there for the open house. That's going to help the realtor. What realtor would not want free advertising like that? Somebody to come work for free at an open house, give out flyers. Normally you have to pay somebody to do that, right? Or give them a piece of the action, like a realtor assistant or a junior realtor or something like that. So number 7 is you can volunteer at your local Rotary Club or other civic-minded groups. A lot of professionals are in all those groups, so it's always good to be volunteering there. You're going to meet other like-minded professionals like yourself that are thinking in the same manner and that are there to meet other people. They're not just there to be a bump on a log. They're there to meet other people. So that would be great for you to do that. At the same time, you would be helping out society, which is not a bad thing. And then number 8, it's not last but not least either. There's many more, but these are just what I put on this list. Offer to volunteer as a speaker or expert at real estate training events. Again, there's a lot of events, major events, not so major events going on. And they're always looking for people with relevant content. So if you could come up with some good content that could be, whatever it could be, if you want to talk about rates, you want to talk about different programs option, whatever you think is appropriate for the situation that you're going to be presenting, do something nice, something thoughtful, but the idea is to be out there in the forefront and make a name for yourself, be relevant, and get exposure and, get referrals. That's really what we're looking for here to get. So that's all my points here. So I want to look at some of the questions.
So question, what is quick loan processing? How fast can we close a loan? You want to answer that question, Jose? At the mortgage calculator, how fast can we close a loan?
Well, the only thing that's really going to slow a loan down is not really going to be the mortgage calculator. It's going to be usually the turnaround time on an appraisal and the turnaround time on title work. Underwriting turnaround time is usually 24 to 48 hours for initial review, and then 24 to 48 hours for review of conditions, right? So our time on it is, we're not really holding on to the file. Now, there could be delays where there's a certain document that we need from the customer and he may be waiting for it, locating it, something like that, where maybe we have a condition already from underwriting and now that's something we're waiting for, that would be out of our control. But typically 21 to 30 days is average for a closing. But most important to note is our turnaround time on underwriting and reviews is anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. And in some cases, we have same day review as well.
Okay, let's see here. I decided to get MLO license because my experience with loan originators is horrible. They can ruin any deal. Yeah, absolutely. They can definitely ruin deals. That's for sure. That's why, as Jose was saying, it's, once a realtor finds a great, partner, they're going to send all their people there. So we got to become that partner that they can trust. And especially here at the Mortgage Calculator, as you all know, we got every program under the sun. So whoever it is that they're working with most likely does not have the extra 5,000 loan programs to go to after they exhaust their, conventional FHA type routes. Let's see. Taryn saying, I go to offices in person. Is there a place to buy TMC merch? For those of you on our team, we have a link in the Knowledge Center where you can, purchase things that we put our logo on there. And that's pretty much all I see here. Yeah, and just to recap, those relationships with realtors are just so important, and it's always the give take. And here, with all of us at the Mortgage Calculator, at least we have leads galore, right? And so when speaking with realtors, you have leads coming in from all over the country, especially whatever state you're, contacting this realtor in, and you're going to need a realtor in that area, especially because most of us are remote. Right? We're going to need a realtor to send the business to when the business comes in. That doesn't mean you have to have the business before you reach out to the realtor, right? You can reach out to the realtor in anticipation of the business saying, hey, I do loans in Florida. I'm not in Florida, so I don't have a realtor there. Would you like to be one of my realtor referrals? So when I get a deal in your market, you're the first one that I call. Of course, right? Of course they're going to want to be that. Who would say no? Would you say no if a realtor did that to you the opposite way, right? And said, hey, I see your license in Florida. I need somebody to send my Florida clients to. So, it's not necessarily like a fake it till you make it, but it's definitely something to where you can get the referral partner before you actually have the referral. So all of you are able to go get referral partners right now. There is no excuse of, oh, well, I don't have a loan to do in this place or that place yet. You're all ready to go. All of you pick up the phone, start calling the realtors. You can call them on our list if you're on our team. And if not, there's plenty of places, like Jose said, go to NAR, go to the website, start looking up realtors. Every single person listening to this call is in the position to go call realtors to give them referrals, even if you don't have the referral yet. Right? It's all about setting it all up. Nick, were you going to say something? Oh, sorry. It looked like you had a face like you were going to say something. All right. Are there any questions? Joshua said almost all the sizes are sold out. I mean, I think you can get different ones if you want to. I can give you the logo if you guys are trying to put it on different clothes or whatever. It's not like we're selling the clothes on that store. It's just a place we uploaded the logo for you guys. We just got a new batch of stuff, which is cool. And we got a big announcement tomorrow for anybody on the Mortgage Calculator team. You'll hear tomorrow. Everybody here, tune in for our next sales training. We'll have some big announcements of some events and stuff we got going on. Deborah's asking, is there a script for calling realtors? At the Mortgage Calculator, we have a realtor call script in the Knowledge Center that you can type in call scripts and pull it up. But, it's one of those things where it's like, there's not necessarily anything set to say. The biggest thing to say is kind of what I just went over, what Jose went over, right? Let's network. Let's team up with each other. When you got business, send them my way and vice versa. All right. Well, we'll keep it short today. Let everybody get on. with their night here. We do this every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time for a loan officer sales training. And then every weekday we do at 11 a.m. our daily mortgage rates live. So everybody have a good night, and hopefully we will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Everybody take care.
Thank you, everybody.